Welcome back. As always, we go through your questions and comments during the break. Please keep sending them into the story at kgw.com or use the hashtag HeyDan on Twitter. And there are a few questions that we get a lot. Maybe you've sent them before. Patterns in our inbox, if you will. One of them is what's happening with Wapato. And it just so happens Maggie Vespa has an update for us.
And Dan, as you said, we know a lot of people want this update because you type Wapato into our inbox search bar and you get a ton of emails like this one. Nancy wrote in and she said, with all the talk about the homeless crisis, I wonder what happened with the old Wapato Jail. The last I heard, and this was a while ago, she said, they were set to open and would take in 200 persons. And then she added, did it happen? If so, is it working? And what will happen in the future? Nancy, you should work for us. Those are great questions. Thank you for writing in. So it just so happens there was a big press conference today giving an update on this very topic. So first, a quick refresher on Wapato. It's the famous jail that Multnomah County built, but for decades never used. A couple of years ago, a local developer teamed up with a nonprofit, Helping Hands Reentry Outreach, to open Wapato as a homeless shelter. They're calling it Bybee Lakes Hope Center. And it's been up and running since last fall, but thanks to COVID and thanks to renovations, it's been operating at an extremely limited capacity. Right now it holds about 60 people. So, cut to today's press conference and a big announcement. United Way announced it's donating $1.2 million to help finish construction and get more people inside the shelter. So here's Helping Hands founder Alan Evans on tangibly what that means.
We are looking to have the build out done in December, and just before the beginning of the year is to expand our bed spaces to 318.
In case you're curious, here's video from inside Bybee Lakes. Their team sent us this today. Okay, so he said 318 beds by the start of the new year. 60 of those will be emergency overnight beds. You can come in off the street and get a bed. The rest will be longer term beds, and those kind of come with services attached. A lot of these at Bybee Lakes, helping people get jobs, addiction treatment, and basically getting them out of the shelter and into long-term housing. So they estimate they'll be able to serve 4,700 people a year because people cycle out of the shelter and new ones come in. And that's a really big number, especially when you think about that building's history.
For about 2 decades, it seemed like Wapato went nowhere fast, or maybe like nowhere slow, until pretty recently. So how did we get here? Back in 1996, voters approved a $46 million bond to build the jail, responding to an uptick in drug arrests in the city. The state threw in $12 million more dollars. But on that same ballot, voters also chose to make it harder for the county to raise the money it needed to keep the place running. That pretty much set the tone for the whole project. After a long search for a location, the county decided on an area next to Bybee Lake in North Portland, and that's where the jail was built in 2003. But not long after that, the county acknowledged that they didn't actually have the money to run it. So Wapato sat empty, costing us between $300,000 and $400,000 a year just to keep it open. The county looked for someone to take it off their hands, but they weren't allowed to sell it until 2016 when bonds used to build the jail were paid off. That's around the time people started talking about using it as a homeless shelter. But the city of Portland decided it would cost too much to convert it. In 2018, the county voted to sell the $58 million jail for just $5 million, a $53 million loss. In 2019, its owner, Jordan Schnitzer, thought about demolishing the jail and getting rid of this headache once and for all. But that same year, Helping Hands Reentry Outreach Centers started campaigning to transform Wapato into Bybee Lakes Hope Center. The homeless shelter opened its doors in October, complete with on-site addiction treatment programs and job training. Right now, they're only housing about 60 people because of COVID restrictions and because they're still renovating part of the shelter. They're hoping to expand to just over 300 people by the end of the year. And that's how we got here.